Hello and welcome to the post-GT podcast summary for Forgotten North Gaming. You've got a full house again, all three of us, so good evening, chaps.
Evening.
Evening.
Seen far too much you used to over the last few days.
No, I know, you just can't get rid of some people, can you?
As we found out, Scott is the oldest person in Warhammer, so you've got to give him a break.
No, that was genuinely the most upsetting thing that happened all weekend, that I got accused of being older than a person in their mid-50s. Like, that was even by my standards, that was a new low, to be honest. So you join us several days now after our very first Forgotten North Gaming GT in Newcastle, and initial thoughts, I would suggest, gentlemen, that it went well.
I think it did. It was 27 players in the end. And yeah, a few teething problems, a few things we've got to get right for the next one, but nothing major. I think the consensus was it was enjoyable and everyone had a good time.
Yeah, I think no one raised anything that wasn't. I think the small issues we had were all that minor. Nothing really counted for anything. It was just minor glitches that we know how to fix for next time, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think I agree. I think so far the feedback from everyone who's either sent us an email or a Facebook Messenger or just caught us in person has been generally very positive overall, with a couple of glitches that we were already aware of as well. And some of it was just easily avoidable, but easily fixable going forward.
Yeah.
But that all said, I don't think any of those teething problems take away from what was a very good weekend, and I genuinely thought everyone who attended had a really good time, regardless of sort of where they were sitting on the table or anything else. Everyone seemed to have a genuinely decent weekend for the most part, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, I think everyone I spoke to loved the setup, loved the tables, enjoyed the space.
Yeah, I think the space.
Yeah,
I think that was the big one. That the biggest feedback, or the first thing everyone said was, "Oh, the space is amazing, the setup's really good," and I agree. I think the space is probably the biggest plus point that we have.
Yeah. Well, I can't think of any of the past GTs, like the South Coast, the one in Scotland, and any that I've been to over the years, where you have an extra table, all for like your books, your models, and you still have room at the front and back of the table.
Yeah.
It's a lot of space. 360
access around the table and a side table to dump all your dead pile, books, like you say, models. I think that went down an absolute treat. And
Well, I think without that, you couldn't do the Battle for the Past one, because getting around tables for Battle for the Past normally is a no-go if you're in the middle of the board. It's a row of three and you haven't got the gap.
Yeah, it is.
Can't play that well.
We've played it in multiple tournaments, haven't we? And it is just a massive pain.
You end up asking your opponent, can you measure that for me? Can you do this for me? It's a bit like...
The only thing I'll say about Battle for the Past, I was walking around and there was only one table had the initiative to move the side table.
Yeah. That said, I played, obviously because there was only 27 and we rotated through, although Andy did carry the bulk of that, thank you. I played Battle for the Past and I just didn't bother moving it, to be honest, because it didn't get in my way. And because we had access the rest of the way around.
Giant old man.
And I'm a giant old man, apparently. Father Time. But no, and we'll take this opportunity to give a bit of a shout out to Different Not Less, a local independent retailer who came down for the weekend just to give us a bit of support, provided a couple of prizes for the painting, the best army and runner-up best army, which was, I thought was really nice of them.
Yeah, lovely seeing them there.
Yes, I haven't seen for a while, but it's good that they came down, sold a few things, got their name out a bit to a lot of the local lads up there that don't really necessarily go to them as a store. So it was quite good.
Yeah, no, I agree. So that said, I think hopefully what will prove to be a success and the first of many GTs. We've got the venue sorted, a couple of teething problems again that we'll liaise with those about, but generally very positive on the most part. Like I say, space was phenomenal. A little bit of a hiccup with the service, but I'm sure that's just an easy iron out problem.
The meal on the Saturday night was fantastic.
Yeah.
So much.
I think, that was an absolute howl, and it was lovely just chatting to people who the one person I'd not met until the weekend, which was lovely. So the Saturday night meal after day one will definitely be a keeper for the pack if anyone does want to join us going forward, because that was very, very good fun.
And it was nice food.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, it was good. Like 3-course meal to finish your day off of Warhammering. I like that. That was positive. I say Warhammering as if we did anything other than Andy, to be fair. Like, you had to play 2 games. I know you actually played a game as well, Stan, so it was just me booling around.
I played a game on day 1.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Played a game and bought an armour.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a normal way of playing a game.
Well, it is when you play Steve.
Yeah.
I wanted the army.
Well, you've got to do what you've got to do. You've got to do what you've got to do. So, accompanying this video, we will also, in the link below, naturally, and I'll put a link on various on our Facebook social, will be just a bit of a pack with the final standings on there, and also all of the lists, and we can see where everyone finished. I think maybe one of the shocks, considering how many of them there was no warriors on the podium. Although I think the scenario might have had the scoring system probably had a bit to do with that as well.
I think the scoring system and there was a lot of lists that were good counters to warriors.
Yeah. Well, I think they had good counters, and they almost counter each other as well, don't they? Because they're scared to dragon off.
Yeah. A lot of tight games across the weekend.
Well, I think our amendment of the 20-0 system and changing the brackets to 200 really led to an increase in the number of draws rather than
there was a lot of really tight games as well.
Lots of 11-9s, 12-8s, 10-10s. I mean, Ian, one of the Dark Elf players, he drew throughout the 5 games. And a couple of other draws. So I think Andy, who had 2 draws, 3 wins, actually, if it wasn't for our extended brackets, to be fair to him, would have went away with 4 wins and a draw, I think. So our amendment of the 20-0 system, like, rightly or wrongly, stopped Andy winning the event, but that was the pack that we set out right from the start.
Yeah, but I think, was it Scott got a draw with 4 points in it?
Oh yeah, I mean there was some really close draws. Really close. I don't think
in all the years I've been playing, I've seen a game that tight.
I think, funny enough, Ian and Todd, I think, had an incredible draw as well. That was about like under 30 points. There might have even been single figures as well. It was crazy. But overall, I mean, out of the 27 players, only one person lost all of their games as well from a competitive sense, and that was his first ever set of Old World games.
Yeah, that was his first 5 games of Old World.
Yeah.
And to be fair, each game, I think, by the game 5, his last one, I was watching his lovers games. He was getting better with the rules, like his own army rules, as you learned what models were better doing what.
Oh no, I think, and he was, Craig hung back and helped us tidy up, and he had a really good time, learnt loads, and he's already looking forward to his next event, which is like really positive, and like growing the game and building the community is obviously what we're hoping to achieve here as well, isn't it? Let's be honest.
And he is now really local.
Really local, yeah.
I think there was the wide skill gap.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I don't think anyone felt overwhelmed or hard done by.
No, and I don't think anyone was scared to ask some questions either. And I think when the game's as new as it still is, like we've talked about a lot, like that's a positive thing. Like that's the best way of learning and engaging is to, if you don't know, ask some questions, or even if you're not 100% sure, sort of ask the question. Oh my goodness, Stan's just went really small again. That's alright, I'll fix them while we're streaming, don't worry.
I had 2 games against the new guys, and they are both learning, but it's one of but they both had really good times. They both learnt more about what other armies do as well as theirs. So it is just a good place to learn as well.
Yeah, no, agreed. So, with that in mind, shall we have a bit of a deeper dive into the top 3 lists? So, top 3 will, as you'll see...
do you want to do the best painted?
Should we do best painted first? Yeah, no, that's a good shout, because I think, to be fair, well, we all thought on the day, this was a really, really tough one to judge. There was some genuinely lovely armies on display.
Sorry, Andy. I was very surprised by how many painted armies there were. I thought, obviously, with the game being new, we'd see a lot more people just starting out, not had time to paint their models. But I think if there was 90% were painted, and a good proportion of them were really well painted.
Yeah. I think I only saw 3 that weren't painted that I remember.
Yeah, there was a lot less.
One of the newer guys.
A lot less unpainted than not, which was great to see.
And the overall standard was amazing.
Honestly, I was blown away by the quality of some of the armies, truth be told. Like, just to give, and we did this on the day, but just to give a couple of shout outs, I thought David and Liam both brought Orc Waz.
Yeah, lovely theme armies.
Both of them were genuinely lovely paint jobs. Like, Liam's was excellent, really set off by the shields, as I'm sure Stan will comment on.
Very Bretonnian-esque style shields.
They were really nice. And then David's was so classic. It was really classic and the wizard with the little magic mushroom hat was genuinely the best thing in the army, I thought, personally.
Wizard.
Yeah, it was just brilliant. Both of those were excellent. I thought Andy's Warriors was a really nicely painted army. I thought Tony's VC were really nice. I loved his basin on it. But we could go on, because like, obviously there was like Michael's Warriors as well. Like,
I want to see those pictures on Facebook of all the
yeah,
armies.
and we'll load up more as well. And hats off to Max, who voluntarily took a load of photos with a really nice camera for us, so we'll get that loaded up as well. And then the runner-up best army, Shane and his demons, which like genuinely was the paint job is amazing, and that demon prince was probably the single best model on display in the whole weekend for me.
Yeah, the wings on it was amazing.
Those moth wings were just different level, weren't they?
As an individual model, yeah, Shane won it hands down.
Yeah, oh yeah. That demon prince was. If we're doing a single model prize, that demon prince I think would have won it without question. Like, those wings were just amazing.
Very little debate.
Yeah, and like, how many people came up to you guys over the weekend and said that demon army is amazing? So I had quite a few.
Yeah.
But that said, I also had a lot of people coming up to me about the list that won it, which was Todd and his Empire list.
Yeah, I think that's good. Like, it's the theme and the paint job. It both just worked really well.
Yeah. I think it was so unique with it being printed as well, but everything was obvious what it was. It was printed, but the theme carried all the way through. The paint job was excellent. Like, it was and it was clean, like a really clean army on the board.
It was just a uniformed, nice army.
It was almost everything you wanted in an Empire list, wasn't it? From a paint job,
including the hero of the Empire.
Oh my god! Like, Max is going to have nightmares about that guy who just couldn't kill, like, just would not die.
It was such a nice Empire army. He won some demons.
yeah, he got some bloodletters, didn't he? But no, I think we will put some pictures up there. I'll try to pop a reel at some point on YouTube, but we'll definitely post them up on Facebook. But there were some lovely armies out there, like really lovely armies. Yeah, and hats off to everyone who did bring a fully painted army, and some of the work they did on show was genuinely lovely.
And hats off to everyone for bringing their armies.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, there was no shame in having an unpainted army at this stage.
No, not at all. I totally agree. Rather bring an unpainted army and have a good time and have some games than
Not
turn up and don't get any games in just because your army's unpainted. Like, it's really early in the edition. God, not all the armies are out yet.
Yeah.
I think early on as well, people don't mind people bringing unpainted armors.
Yeah, agreed. And I think
down the line, who were like, but now it's still at that time where it's still.
Yeah, I mean, I even think fast forward this time next year, and I still don't know if you can insist on painted armies because some people will have only just got armies at the rate they're coming out, kind of thing.
Yeah. If you look at like the new journals for your army, it's changing quite a lot. A lot of the newer stuff, unless you're an older player like a lot of us that have got spare models for almost most things.
Yeah, that's that's the thing. Not to judge sort of everyone's capacity to lay their hands on bloody shed loads of models by sort of how many we've got.
We think the amount of players that are coming back, a lot of them will have potentially sold all their fantasy armies and just have 30k, 40k, whatever they've got.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, that guy that said he says I'm an army on fire, still hilarious. So yeah, I think, you know, I can't see us putting a painting requirement on for quite a little while yet, at least to make sure we continue to drive participation rather than.
I would rather unpainted armies than put barriers up.
I totally agree. At least at the minute, I really do.
I want everyone in that room having fun and having a good laugh again.
Yeah.
And I think what was said, the way the room was, fast forwarding a bit, probably about aim for 40.
I think 40 would give us everything that the room provided, which was space, lovely feeling, like 360 access, side tables. 40 would still give all of that as well.
Yeah, you wouldn't lose anything from the room.
Yeah.
Which is what you want.
Because I think you could easily fit more than that in. Like, to be honest, you could easily fit 50 or 60 in if you wanted to go like full out.
If we wanted to go daft, we could fit 100 in there.
Yeah, but that's, you know, that is not what we're aiming for. I'd rather cap it at 40 and provide everyone with that feeling of space, side tables, etc. that we did, than
it's
sacrifice
not
that.
Our events are about.
Yeah. And also the freebies seem to go down really well, which was good. It was nice to see them in use. So well done, Stan, in your printing machine ways.
It's already started for the next one.
It's because you can't sleep now without the sound of a printer whirring away in your back room, can you?
It's white noise to us now.
Yeah.
I sent a print away for something I wanted.
How dare you print stuff for yourself? Like, how dare you?
But anyway,
so top three lists. So we had David with his Orcs and Goblins, then we had Charlie with vampires, and then we had Jack with Bretonnians.
And that's in descending order.
In descending order from first to third, with first and second place separated by only 1 point on the 20-0 system, which is as close as you get, let's be honest. Both on 4, all top 4 all finished on 4 wins. The podium guys were the comfortably highest on 20-0 system, and therefore they were the top 3 lists.
You think third place beat first place, didn't he? Second place beat third place. Like they've all played each other. It was a bit of a crazy one.
Yeah, I think first. I don't think first and second played each other. But no, they didn't.
First played third. I know second played third. But I don't think first and second played.
No.
First and second didn't play.
No. Because obviously it was Jack and Charlie on top table. If Jack had have won, he'd have went 5 from 5 and took the event. And then once he lost, it was down to VPs. And then David then won his game on table 2 against Tony to take the win. Just.
It was very tight. I think theoretically there was a world when potentially 5 people could have won it.
Yeah. There was lots of sort of wonderful things going on, which I think is what you want as well, isn't it? You want a lot of capacity for different people to win the event because it shows as close in the lists are working their way through and people are beating each other and whatnot to a point.
But are we going to now have a look at them in depth?
Yes. So, the winning list first, and let's start from the top. So we had a Night Goblin Big Boss, BSB with Wallop as one hit wonder. We had a Night Goblin level 4 on War Magic with the Idol of Mork for the increased dispel range.
Yeah.
An Orc War Boss who's on a Werven with the Great Weapon, Trollhide Trousers, and Talisman of Protection, which I think is a really strong build and a Great Weapon. And then the General was a level 4 Orc Shaman on Elementalism with Lore Familiar. And that was a huge part of, as we'll talk through, I'm sure, of David's sort of tactics. Core was then one block of 90 Night Goblins with 3 Fanatics and the Spider Banner to give them more poisoned attacks, supported by a unit of 30 Night Goblins with 3 Fanatics. Special was 8 Squig Hoppers, 8 Squig Hoppers, 8 Bow Boys, and then 2 Doom Divers in rare.
So we highlighted this one in the pre-show.
You did, yes. You called this out as your favourite list.
I did. And yeah, I kept a close eye on the list, and there's a couple of things. I think his War Boss behaved. I never saw him really charging off, being impetuous.
No, and I think that was part of the build for this. It was more of a protection job, wasn't it? And it was a...
Yeah.
If something got through the goblins, or got at the goblins, it was there to protect the goblins.
But considering his range, he could have easily just wandered off on his own.
Yeah.
And I never really saw that happen.
No, I didn't see that happen either, to be honest. I think the big one that I saw multiple times from this list was the use of travel mystical pathways on the Night Goblin 90 block to be really putting them where they needed.
Key to keep it moving and massively moving.
Yeah, and I mean we've chatted about travel mystical pathways. No wonder we've lost your audio. I'll just keep chatting while Andy comes back with some of his audio, hopefully.
Yeah, the travel mystical pathways with it having to be within 12 and not wholly within 12.
Yeah, I just think it's... Look, I mean...
You've got a 15 wide, an early 15-inch unit.
Oh, you're back. Yeah, this isn't a dig at how it was played. Like, it was played...
It was played within the rules.
David played it absolutely. He maximised the rules as the rules are written. Like, 100%.
I think Mystical Pathway is, as I said before, one of my favourite spells in the game.
Yeah. Oh, Andy, we had you and we've lost you again.
Yeah, it is an amazing spell.
Oh, no, Andy, we've still lost you. We've still lost you.
Well, the combination, his main drive in the combination was...
There we go, we'll go back to the normal one off the mic.
There we go, we've got you again.
With the Plague of Rust and the Evil Sunshine in,
yeah.
the goblins are then shooting on an equivalent of -3.
And you're just fishing for poison. I mean, he killed so many dragons and terrorgeists and mortis engines.
With that many shots, it's kind of like you're going to get a decent amount every time.
Yeah, and he's got so much stuff as well that he can throw in the way of it.
And it's just the bouncing around with pathways.
Yeah, keeping it out of charged threats. I mean, he had a couple of close calls a couple of times on terrors and rallies and meeting engagement, which caused him a lot of hassle. But like hats up, he played the list very well. Very well.
Played very well, but it's still a goblin. There was a couple of times when it was an 8-up roll and the unit's gone.
Yeah, it was an 8-up where it was gone. And like dice game, you throw...
Dice game?
It's structured in a way to let him play the averages. which sounds a little bit of a derogatory, but I certainly don't mean it that way. It's a well put together list to maximise what it can do.
I did think that when the big block started off the board on that game, I was like, are they going to come on and be in everybody's charge range?
That was my worry.
Yeah. But they held the charge well, I think.
Yes. Also helped by Steve for getting first charge on his chariot.
Yeah, that did help. I think every time he got charged, I know when he lost to Jack in the end, but every time he got charged, he managed to do quite a few wounds on the stand and shoot as well to massively help his combat res.
Well, with him being quick to fire as well, it really, really helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't think you ever win an event or podium an event without luck. I think of all the events I've sort of podiumed on, I've never done it without having a bit of luck on my side. It's at least for one or two games.
It's probably more important than playing well.
When we had so many multi-wound T6 beasties kicking around, it was the perfect answer to it.
I think, if he almost couldn't have wrote the amount of big monsters coming at the event better for his list.
If it had been a more MSU meta, would it have been effective?
Yeah, if we had the volume of, say, Brett that they saw in London, would it have been, like, who knows? But the fact that in this event we had a lot, you can only beat the list in front of you, and 4 out of the 5 armies he faced, David did exactly that.
Yeah.
So he came up against the Scream list with the Spectral Vortex down to lose his leadership, and then a terror test on a 6. You're like,
Yeah, well, and he did beat a multiple Scream list in game 5 as well, to be fair to him. And I know it got a couple of rope times, because that was one of the couple of games I saw him on his LD8 rally, and he got it. On another day, he might not have, and it would have been an absolute disaster. But hats off.
But I'll be interested to see. I spoke to him briefly, and I think he is going to stick with the list and try and develop it. So it'll be interesting to see how it.
Well, I know he said since submission for our event, he's played it and changed a few things. I think he was saying the ball boys get dropped and something else changes, but he's still on other variations of that list. But he wants to keep the list as is for the predominant league and just alter the little fluffy bits.
And honestly, I like that. I love someone sticking with a list and modifying it and building on it and like tweaking to improve it.
And I just found out that he actually lives a couple of doors away from me.
He's literally the next street down, isn't he? Or up.
Yeah, it was weird. I dropped Stan at home, driving down the road, and I was like, oh, there he is. I was like, I've just seen you.
Yeah, that is weird. Like, what a small world.
The goblins.
You can have a goblin off?
No one wants that.
I don't want that.
Nobody wants that filth in their life, do they? But no, I don't want to sound like dismissive, because I think these 2 little units of Squig Hoppers did him really well. It cleared out crap that was in his way, and
just 8 first charges.
Yeah, exactly that.
Was it game 4 when he played the Dark Elf list? He said he would have lost, but he managed to throw his fanatics through his own Squig Hoppers to kill him, so that the Dark Elf dragons then couldn't overrun because the Squigs were dead before combat. So they got to shoot the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Which is just the joy of fanatics, just using them to kill your own things to bone them.
The joy of goblins.
Yeah. Like, I don't want you anymore. Fanatics, go kill my own stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he was. Like he thought at one point, if they're going to get charged, which they did, get overran into his block, and that's game over. And he was ready for a big loss. And then he threw his fanatics through his own troops and wiped them all out. And the monsters that were there were then just ready to get gunned down off his night goblins. But no, like
we'll try and get him on the channel soon.
Yeah.
With the list.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Get him to talk through it and share what his thoughts are, how he thought it worked versus how he was hoping it would work versus how it actually worked. which I think will be interesting to hear his take, and I think he has recorded it already with a friend. So that
with close order.
Yes. So I'm sure you'll be able to hear his thoughts directly from that on that channel as well.
Into the best loser.
First loser. So Charlie came second with vampires. So his list was a Master Necromancer on a Mortis engine, level 4, on illusion, Spell Familiar, Skullstaff, Crown of the Damned. Another Master Necromancer, who was the General, also level 4, on Necromancy with a Spell Familiar, and the Scepter of de Noir, who's on foot, so more easy to hide. He also then had 2 Banshees and a White Lord BSB with the War Banner on a Skeletal Steed. Charm Shield, Helm of Commandment. His core, 13 Crypt Horrors with a champion, 18 Graveguard with a champion and the Drakenhof banner with grey weapons, and 21 zombies. So a bit of an unusual core, I think. Mm-hmm. In special, he had a Corpse Cart and 4 Fellbats. And then in his rare, he had a unit of 5 Vargeist with a champion. So not the full Scream list, to be fair.
No, quite a moderate version.
A very different undead list to what you see in the meta.
Really different.
That core option.
The core's really different and quite unusual. I know we building up that block of zombies to the maximum of 40 and then just keeping it there. I watched the Graveguard do outrageously well against Jack in the last game against the Brets.
Yeah, 2 units of Knights of the Realm and a lots of Grail Knights bounced off them.
I think you only killed. You went in. Killed 4 something like that, and then just got battered.
And then the Vargeists went into the flank.
Yeah,
rolled it down.
It was all once they got into the flank, like they're just going to tear through the Knights on them, which they did.
But in 99 times out of 100, those Knights go straight through those Graveguards.
Oh yeah, it was weird. But hats off. It's got the typical Mortis engine, which is just incredibly good. It's got 2 Banshees. It's got the level 4 Necromancy, the illusion stopping you getting the charges off, etc., which was big and well played by Charlie. And another thing I will say is that I happen to be floating by a couple of Charlie's games, and what a genuinely lovely gentleman. He seemed a real genuine pleasure to play, which is hard to do when you're using a Scream list.
Yeah. And I saw a few times, especially against the game against Essex Scott. He played it so well, and when Scott made a mistake, he was on it, and he spotted it, and he went straight in there.
Oh yeah, I think this is a list he's been working on for quite a while, and playing quite a lot, and really you could see he used it very, very well. Good player, knew what he was doing with his list, knew how to pin things down, knew the strengths and weaknesses of his own force, which is what you need, and how to use those Vargeist as well, which are just as important as how to use the Screams.
And he knew when to press the button and go full send and grab the win rather than being cautious and taking the draw.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in Vargeist, you don't generally see that much in lists. I've not seen them at an event where I've been in, I've noticed them actually do anything.
Honestly, until this event where I've seen them in two lists, I've not seen them before in all world.
There's one when we went to Derby that I think had Vargas, but I don't think he did well with them. I think they generally just got shot off.
Yeah, which is what they normally do. And to be fair, maybe they also benefit from not playing a lot of quote-unquote light shooting, which do take out Vargeist really quite easily because they're T4.
Or maybe it's people putting all the shooting into the Mortis engines.
Yeah. And it naturally then makes them a lot more worthwhile and usable.
So it's threat overload what you want to take out.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. You're so focused on the
vampires, or the screaming vampires.
Yeah. I think. Sorry, I'm laughing because when you see the recording, you'll see Stan's camera keeps just doing absolutely insane things.
Because he's slightly possessed. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean it must be.
It just keeps jealous of me, and you're trying to minimise us.
You just keep taking over the screen. You're just an egomaniac.
Yeah, well, we all know that.
But no, like it was really closely played, and like I think Charlie uses this list how it's designed to be used.
Yeah. That's the thing. I'm not sure about you guys. I know, Andy, you played 3 games, but there was a lot of lists I wanted to play against.
Yeah, I think I was quite happy to play Liam because I really wanted to play Liam's list with his mass orc war.
Yeah, there were some really nice lists there, and I mean by nice, I mean like interesting, and ones I would have liked to have challenged my lists against.
So now on to second biggest loser.
Second runner-up is young Jack, who took, I think, the same list that he won the Triple Crown GT with earlier this year. Or if not, it was a...
stick with his list. I don't think it's varied at all since he first started using it.
I don't think he's changed it since Derby or anything. I think he's just...
No, he had changed it a little bit since Derby. He did edit it a little bit from Derby to improve it, which he then won TC with. And then, to be fair, he's then finished third here, so the list's doing him well.
Yeah, it's really good, strong. It's got all the toys with the Brett list.
Yeah, so the list is a Duke with a lance, heavy armour shield, he's the general, he's on a royal peg, he's got the Cromwell Great Helm, Seal of Paravon, Siren's Locket, and everyone's favourite Virtue of Heroism. He's then got his second big threat, which is a Baron, heavy armour shield, Royal Pegasus, Ogre Blade, Gauntlet of the Duel, and Virtue of Knightly Temper.
Never seen those combos.
No, I think we're all shocked by them. No, we've never seen those before. And then he's got his Prophetess level 4 with the Falcon Horn on Battle Magic with the Lore Familiar. His core is then 6 Mounted Knights, 6 Mounted Knights, 6 Mounted Knights, 10 Bowmen. 3 Pegs, 5 Mounted Yeomen, and 8 Grail Knights. Now, I actually don't think this is anywhere remotely near the worst, and by worst I mean filthiest Brett list that you'll see.
Well,
no, they're the far worse ones.
He's stuck with the Grails when a lot of people are drifting towards the double unit of Peg Knights.
Yep, and his unit of Peg Knights is only 3 big. So, like, actually, I know he's got, like, the 2 really powerful characters, but actually, as far as the current Brett list goes, it's not what you'd call a quote-unquote top-tier list. I think Jack got a list that really works for him and he knows how to use it.
Yeah, I think he's just drilled it and he's... You know, it's got no Green Knights, no double blocks before. It's Grand Army, not Exiles, which Exiles arguably the strongest way to play Bretts.
Yeah.
And I think for the...
against this list, it is a really strong list, but Jack does know what he's doing with it generally really well.
And hats off to him for it. Like, I think arguably in a competitive sense, like, you would drop the Grail Knights for more pegs, which is what most of the top end Brett lists do. They have the Green Knight in there because he's just outrageous. And like Jack's is what you would call almost a very traditional Brett list, not maximising peg, like the peg spam and or big peg knight blocks. And he does use it very, very well. Like I say, in 10 games, it is in many respects. But in 10 event games with this list, he's only lost 1 game, which is the last game of this event.
Yeah.
He won all 5 games at Triple Crown, and he just won 4 out of 5 here.
And he won 4 out of 5 at Derby as well, I think.
It was a slightly, because it was, but it's a different list to Derby slightly.
Slightly, it's not.
It's not massively different, no. But this very specific list has only lost 1 in 10 games.
Well, if you add both, it's only 2 in, top 15.
Yeah.
I think Derby did not get a draw.
I think, yeah. But either way, he really has put the time and effort into this list.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And I think it's a similar point to what we were mentioning on the last list with both Charlie and David. The top 3 lists here are people who've played the same list and have been working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not inherently embraced the meta.
No, they haven't actively just followed the crowd. They've forged their own path.
Because you think, like, this isn't your standard Brett list, take away the 2 characters. Fair enough. The vampire list wasn't your normal just mass screams. And that goblin list was also very unique with the massive block.
Yeah.
So I think all, like, the top 3 are all really quite different and individual lists in shows that actually the meta is just what we said previously. It's evolving a lot, and there's lots of different ways that the game's going to take us before things settle down.
And the 2 main armies, neither were journalists either. They finished first and third.
Yeah.
Dragons aren't the end now.
No.
They know of everything.
No, and that's it. People will quickly say, "Oh, it's the time of the dragon," and then after the London event, it was, "Oh, it's just the time of the Brets." But I think it's too early to say it's the time of anything yet.
I think it's the time of players that have put time and effort into their list and know how to play well.
I think any army in the game, for the most part, with the odd exception, can win events.
I think any can.
With someone who's put time and effort into working out how their list works and being able to really maximise their own list.
It's time, effort, and a little bit of luck.
Oh, yes, because like we said...
You're artillery doing D3 wounds, are you getting 1s or 3s?
Yeah.
That's a massive swing.
No, I agree, because you're never going to win an event or even really podium without that bit of luck, like we said at the start. Yeah. But, that all said, it's not just about luck, because all 3 of these guys who've podiumed have really been working on their list, evolving their list, and trying to maximise their list.
Yeah. And being able to play it like the back of the hand.
Yeah, that's it. They know their list. They know what everything does on their list. It's not like they're having to think, what do I do in this situation? Or, ooh, how do I react to that? Because they know how their list works. It's built to do what it does.
Got the internet and gone, right, this is the best list. How does it work?
Yeah, yeah. There's no net list here. Like, it's there. These guys have built lists that work for them, and like, hats off to them. They've done well with it. Like, yeah, any of these guys could have won the event, and they would have all been worthy winners in that regard as well. The wall, like,
quite a lot of the field could have won it.
Oh yeah, to be fair, any of the tops, 8 probably could have won it with a little bit of luck here or there, and
there was even people below that you would think they could do. You'd expect them to do better, but they just didn't hit the rope.
And you know,
lucky, and then we're on 2 losses.
Yeah, you make one error and it gets punished, or you just get bad dice and it doesn't go your way.
Or you come up against a hero of the Empire that can only roll 5 ups.
Aye, poor Max. Like that, generally, Empire was just unkillable in that game.
You say poor Max, because it's Max, it's fine.
Oh, bless him. And he had warriors, and he didn't even have a dragon. He had Galrock, but I mean, he barely counts.
Which, you bet, failed the test, twice all weekend?
I think actually Galrock was probably his MVP across the weekend, to be honest. just insane.
Did not think he thought he'd sound day 1?
No, so there are top 3 lists. And if anyone wants to look at any through the rest of the list, like I say, they will all be linked below, and they will also be available and linked via our Facebook pages.
Well done to them. They've now had a day and a half of basking in the glory. It's now matchless because we're on to the next event.
Yeah, yeah. That event's gone. It's dead to us now. They're chip shop paper. They're yesterday's news. Yeah, like you say, we obviously are now working on our next event, and we are hoping to have all of that whole pack out and confirmed by the end of November. As in missions, terrain, dates, everything.
Tickets, the lot.
Yeah.
So then we're aiming for May.
Yeah, exact date in May to be confirmed with pack launch by the end of November.
And we'll be going for more themed missions.
Yeah. I think we talked to a lot of players, and we've talked about a lot between the three of us. We want to see some scenarios in there and objective-based missions that really drive a little bit of engagement, especially with infantry.
Yeah.
And just a bit more than just a kill fest, which I think a lot of people will also enjoy, to be honest.
There's going to, I think we've all agreed, there is going to be possibly only one comp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's going to be no changes to any core rules.
Oh no, I think we're all agreed that absolutely no changes to core rules. Period. Like, if GW change the core rules, then naturally we'll use them because they're then the core rules. Like, I fundamentally disagree with changing the core rules of the game. If you don't agree with the core rules, go play a different game. Well, I mean, there's core rules I don't agree with, but I'm not going to change them because then I'm not playing this game. I'm playing a different game. I'm playing Scott Hammer, because I think deep down we all yearn to play.
Scott Hammer.
Well, that crazy,
that
crazy old man just making up rules as he goes.
Shake his fist at clouds.
That's exactly what I'll be doing.
But hopefully, end of November, and we intend to have hopefully the rooms on offer again.
Yep.
Everything we'll have this time.
And more.
And more.
That's the aim. Everything this time, but more or better.
Yeah. Smooth out some of the rough edges.
Yeah, absolutely. We've definitely some takeaways.
Rather than a rebuild.
Oh yeah, like, we won't be tearing anything up from scratch because we generally think that the weekend was very, very good. Everyone seemed very pleased with it, and all the comments are predominantly very positive, which is really, really lovely to hear. And like, I can't thank the people who attended and the people who've already bothered to give us feedback enough, because we want to evolve and we want to make sure it's as good for every player who can attend as possible.
And the feedback that I've seen, read, or people spoke to us about is there's nothing that's been said that's taken me by surprise.
No, it's all stuff we knew, that like the mining glitches you mentioned, that everything else has just been full of praise for what was a really good weekend.
It was a great weekend in Nurden, and I don't think I left the building from 2 o'clock on Friday.
Oh, it was
on Sunday night.
It was lovely. It was lovely dropping the car off, and then I didn't see the outside. I didn't leave. Likewise, didn't leave the building until we were packing the car back up on the Sunday evening.
Which went smoother than we thought it would do.
Yeah, weirdly smooth.
Like we forgot something.
Oh, we probably forgot lower. Like I am. But all the scenery's now it's all boxed up. It's only the mats left to go into the loft, which I didn't have the heart for today, to be honest. Like, that'll be a future job. That's future Scott's problem.
Are we going to call it a night there? And
I think we will, and I think what we will say is thank you to anyone who's listening or watching, and thank you again to all 27 people who came down and supported the GT. It's very much appreciated, and hopefully you enjoyed it enough that you will join us again for the next one.
And on a quick one coming up, we'll have a battle report coming up this week.
Checked over, but yeah, we should do. And then me and Scott are going to film an interesting one.
Yeah, so that's it. We've talked a little bit about plans for the next event, but in the meantime, we will continue to come up with hopefully battle reports every couple of weeks, and in between that with podcasts. And now that it's outside of tournament season, we hope to do some more like ad hoc ones where we just chat through magic laws that we love, maybe rate sort of put them on a tier list, etc., or why we love them so much, talk about some special rules that we love, listen to Andy talk about why he loves Timban, why it's his favourite rule in the game.
Everyone should love Timber.
So, yes, for anyone who does subscribe, keep an eye on that. If anyone does like the video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, all that sort of social media jazz. That does genuinely help. And hopefully we see you all at the next event.
Yeah.
So until then, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.